So following the incredibly successful March for Our Lives, which happened over the weekend, in which about over 1 million people are estimated to have taken part of in America, Rick Santorum was less than impressed at the actions of these children, and he's going to talk about that on Sunday's CNN's State of the Union. Let's watch.
Is this really all about politics, or is it all about keeping our schools safe? Because it is about keeping our schools safe. Then we have to have much broader discussion than the discussion that's going on right now. How about kids, instead of looking to someone else to solve their problem, do something about maybe taking CPR classes or trying to deal with situations that where there is a violent shooter that you
how
can
are they
actually
looking at other
respond to
people?
that.
I would ask you, they took action.
Yeah, they took action to ask someone to pass a law. They didn't take action to say, how do I, as an individual, deal with this problem? How am I going to do something about stopping bullying within my own community? What am I going to do to actually help respond to a shooter? What am I going to do? Those are the kinds of things where you can take it internally and say, here's how I'm going to deal with this. Here's how I'm going to help the situation, instead of going and protesting and saying, oh, someone else needs to pass a law to protect me.
I've got it.
Okay, so look, there's a lot wrong with that. For one, he brings out the old argument of, well, I mean, if you're going to stop, you got to stop bullying in your community, because bullying is what creates these mass shooters. Really, you would think the people that get bullied the most, i.e. people who are transgender, gay, things like that, you think there would be more of those shooters. But no, it generally tends to be typically a white male. Not in every case, but I think in most cases, most recent mass shootings have been perpetrated by white men with conservative leanings. Just saying. So that's kind of bullshit. But what it's also bullshit is him saying, oh, these damn kids, why do they got to go out and protest? I mean, they got to go rely on somebody else. You know, people that are powerful and actually hold them accountable to do stuff to serve them. No, why are they doing that? Why don't they just count on themselves? Bootstraps. That doesn't make any sense. And besides, they're kids, they don't have any political power. The only political power that they have is themselves and their voice. And they've actually been incredibly successful, and that's got a lot of these people scared shitless. Marco Rubio, scared shitless. Now Rick Santorum, scared shitless. They're afraid because these kids have just realized the power of their voice, and they've realized the power of community, of actually getting together in order to protest. And that's got a lot of people very, very nervous. Because look, yes, a lot of them aren't able to vote yet, but they will be in 2018. Midterms, and if they're not ready by the midterms, certainly 2020. So, yes, they are very, very nervous. But look, now Van Jones is also there, and he's going to say, of course, hey man, look, it's not their job to go out and try to push new laws. They shouldn't have to do this. They shouldn't have to protest in the first place. They should actually be learning, in school. They shouldn't have to worry about being shot in school. And I agree. I mean, look, a lot of teenagers, again, they should be learning math and proper English. And, make a little bit of a joke. Some of them might actually need it. Trust me, I've been on the internet. I'm kidding, of course. It's bad joke. But look, if people didn't get their hands on these guns, then look, they wouldn't be shooting up schools. Okay? All they're doing is telling these kids that, look, we don't want to do what needs to be done. So what we're going to do is we're going to shift the responsibility for surviving a mass shooting onto you, because we don't actually care about solving the problem. That's what the adults, the so-called adults in the room, are saying. We take our NRA checks, we put them in our pocket, and we say, good luck, kids. Hey, thoughts and prayers. Maybe you should go and learn CPR, because we refuse to lift a finger legislatively, because we actually have problems. We actually have the means to solve the problem as well. Or at least, look, they would solve the problem, but you have people like Rick Santorum that used to be in office, but you have people who believe the same as him that are still in office that get bought off by this NRA money. So anyway, I'm going to play the video here that has Van Jones talking about that, and we're going to get Rick Santorum's response.
is going to be in high school next year, and I want him focused on algebra and other stuff. If his main way to survive high school is learning CPR, so when his friend gets shot, he can keep that. To me, we've gone too far. I'm proud of these kids. I know you're proud of these kids too, because you can do.
I'm proud of them, but I think everyone should be responsible and deal with the problems that we have to confront in our lives, and ignoring those problems and saying they're not going to come to me and saying some phony gun law is going to solve it. Phony gun laws don't solve these problems. That's what we found out.
Again, oh man, look, this is going to happen anyway. Well, it wouldn't happen if we actually had prevention in place, or it would happen a hell of a lot less. I mean, look, just ask Japan, just ask Australia, you'll even ask Switzerland. Now, Switzerland has a very high rate of gun ownership, yet for some reason they're not all killing each other like in America. Oh, right, maybe it's because they have what you call phony gun laws. No, the only phony here is Rick Santorum. While he pretends to give a shit, he continues, of course, parroting NRA pro-gun propaganda. Now, what's great is the reaction to this, and I absolutely love it. The internet and doctors specifically went after him for saying that, oh, you should just learn CPR. Well, one tweet from Joseph Sakrin says, as a trauma surgeon and survivor of gun violence, it is critical to clear up the false perception set by Rick Santorum. Victims that go into cardiac arrest after gun violence are bleeding to death. CPR is not effective in this situation. There's another one, another doctor. As a surgeon, I've operated on gunshot victims who have had bullets tear through their intestines, cut through their spinal cord, and pulverize their kidneys and liver. Rick Santorum telling kids to shut up and take CPR class is simply unconscionable. Here's more. Rebecca Bell, MD, writes in, here's some stats made simple for Rick Santorum. Survival rate of pulseless trauma victims who get CPR at the scene, very, very low. Survival rate of people who don't get shot in the first place, much, much better. I think that lays it out. Joe Boysk says, Mr. Santorum, CPR doesn't work at all if the blood is on the ground. This is a dangerous and wrong message. And then Jordan B. writes in, when someone has been shot in the chest and you start compressions, the blood may spray out of the bullet wounds back at you. Oof. And finally, Megan Rainey, MD, writes in, docs for gun sense know that kids can learn two things at once. But prevention of a gunshot wound is better than treatment, and by the time you get your CPR, the patient is dead. I don't understand why we have to explain this to Rick Santorum. And I know he's just throwing that out there, but he's also throwing that out there as a way to distract from the issue. Oh, let's not talk about doing any sort of gun control, because I got money from the NRA, and look, I get paid to spout terrible opinions on CNN, terrible conservative opinions that actually don't align with the majority of the American people who actually wants sensible gun control. But no, he's paid to have this terrible opinion of, hey man, it's not my job, it's not legislators' job. No, it's your job to survive mass shootings, when we could totally actually do something to prevent those mass shootings in the first place. But we don't want to prevent those mass shootings in the first place. So we're just going to tell you, hey, this is on you. You figure it out. You figure out how to survive. Oh, but by the way, we're going to go and protect your children from porn. This is the GOP. These are Republican politicians and the NRA in a nutshell. And they don't agree with the vast majority of Republican voters, as well as the vast majority of the American people who actually do want common sense gun regulation. So, if anybody is the phony, it's Rick Santorum. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.